Welcome to Distress to Joyful, Bailey's Way. I'm your host, Bailey Raber, here to enlighten you and the rest of the world about one of the most misunderstood mental health disorders out there, bipolar disorder. In each episode, we'll learn more about my personal journey with bipolar 2 disorder, how I've struggled with it, and how I've learned to overcome those struggles. Together, we'll laugh, we'll cry, and most importantly, we'll have fun. You'll leave each episode feeling hopeful and stocked full of useful information on how you can better yourself and the world around you. Hello, friends. I am back. Oh my God. I feel like I have been gone way too long. Sorry about that. That's actually part of what this episode is about, or I guess the topic for this episode today. So I'm not going to get in too much detail right now. I will get into that as we move along. But a couple announcements. Well, things to share, I guess, is if you're on YouTube, you can probably see my nose is super red. I am totally sunburned, like really bad sunburned. You can't really see on my arms too much. They look really tan. I am not usually this tan. I'm way whiter than this. Moni, my fiance, and I, we did another Spartan race this past weekend, actually yesterday to be exact. We did the Spartan Beast, which is a 13-mile obstacle course. So, for those of you who don't know what a Spartan race is, it's an obstacle course, and we did, I think, 30 different obstacles this time, while also out on this random ranch out in BFE in Texas. And it was 13 miles of going through dried up riverbeds because there's been a drought recently, crawling up hills, going downhill, going through the forest, like all kinds of crazy stuff. It was a lot of fun. This was our first time doing the Beast. We've done the smaller races like the Super, which is a 10K, which is about 6 miles, and then the 5K or the 3-mile sprint. So we did a sprint in Austin earlier this year. We did the Super in Ohio in June of this year, and then we did the Beast now. So we did this thing called a trifecta when we did all three within a calendar year. Super fun, super cool. It's just this new thing we've gotten into just to kind of keep our fitness journey going, give us motivation and just have fun and go out with friends. And it was a good time. It was a really good time. Oh, and in case you guys didn't know, because I've been MIA for a hot minute, but I am getting married in 2 months. I am so pumped. Actually, literally, as of this recording right now, which I'm recording on Sunday, the 22nd, my wedding is exactly 2 months from today in India. So I'm excited. For those of you, maybe this is your first time ever tuning in. My fiance is from India. He was born and raised in the western state of Gujarat. So he and I are heading over to India. This will be my third trip for us to get married over there. So his parents still live there. He has a lot of close relatives who still live in India. And I'm excited to be joining this beautiful family. And yeah, it's going to be a great time. So super pumped. Also, if this is your first time tuning in and you want to know a bit more about India, check out some of the Travel Tales episodes I've done. I've done 6 so far. Next week, we'll have the 7th one. And it was about my first trip to India, which was just incredible, you guys. Incredible. Okay, so moving on, I have something fun I want to share with you guys. Fun. Well, we'll see how fun this really is. But something I want to share with you guys. So, I have been doing a lot of self reflection lately as part of my growth and my healing journey. And I decided to start sharing some of the tidbits of information that I am learning about myself with you guys. So, this is the hopes to kind of get y'all thinking about yourselves and start reflecting about yourself and your life because I have found that self reflection has helped me a lot. It has helped me to understand why I react the way I do to things sometimes. It's helped me understand why I don't like doing things or why I prefer things or what makes me happy and what doesn't, and all kinds of crazy things like that, which some of you might be thinking, like, well, why is that important? And guys, it's really important to know yourself, and especially if you're in a relationship with somebody else. Me knowing and understanding why I don't like certain things, why some things trigger me, why I like something in particular is helpful, because when I share that with my fiance Monish, it makes his life easier. So he doesn't have to guess, he doesn't have to be confused. And if I'm not confused and I can, communicate these things with him, it just really is helpful for our relationship. So, moving back to the point of this is I'm calling this new little segment my self-reflection corner, because I've also started filming some little short reels for Instagram where I'm sitting in my, as you can tell on YouTube, my little corner. My chair is here in a corner of the room, and so what I talk about on Instagram is obviously going to be way, way shorter. I got 90 seconds. So here on the podcast, I am going to go in a little more depth of some of these things that I share. Wow, I am tongue twisted. Sorry, you guys. I've been out of practice for about a month. But that way I can go in more depth. You might hear some of these things on Instagram first if you're following me, and then you'll hear some more depth later on in the episodes just to give more insight. So, also, by the way, don't expect this to happen every episode. I'm just going to share these little tidbits of things as they come up, and this is not always a linear process. Any of you who are on your own healing or growth journey right now, you know that these things don't happen as planned as you want. They just happen in bursts here and there. So the first ever self-reflection corner topic is showing up. Showing up. So by this, what I mean is that for me, it is very, very important that my friends and my loved ones, that they show up for me. That is important. Make sure, and I've been really, really diligent about this in the past couple of years. To be honest, I haven't been as good this last year. I'll get into that later on. But I am one of those people who will show up for you. I will show up for you. I will support you. I will cheer you on. And so, because I do that with my whole heart for other people, that is something that is very, very important to me, that other people do that for me. And so, when people don't show up for me, sometimes I get really upset. I get really, depressed. I get disappointed. I get down, whatever you want to call it. I'm just not in a good mood. It will wreck my day when somebody doesn't show up. And I thought about this. I was like, well, why does this happen? Why does it, hurt so much when people don't show up for me? And I finally figured out where it stems from. And it stems from you guessed it, my parents. Yes. So growing up, I did not have the supportive parents. I did not have the soccer mom. I did not have a dad who came to my sports games. Y'all, it was really disheartening as a kid. And like looking back and realizing like this is where this stems from. As a kid, I played sports, and like basketball was the one that I did most consistently. I played, I think, 4 or 5 years in a row. And I don't remember my dad showing up to a single one of my basketball games. I don't remember him being there. My mom would usually be there because she was the one to drive me there, but she didn't have a sign. She wasn't wearing, a t-shirt that's, had my name on it or had a number. Like she wasn't there supporting me the way I saw other people's moms. Other people's moms were showing up. They had signs cheering on their kid. They were wearing a t-shirt with the kid's name on it and, the number of their jersey. They were wearing little basketball shaped earrings because that's how supportive they were of their kids. And my parents didn't do that. And that is something I obviously picked up on. They didn't show up in the way that I wanted them to, or that I saw other people's parents doing, which made me feel left out, made me feel unimportant, made me feel like I don't matter. And guys, what's really, really shitty is that this didn't just happen when I was a kid. This was also happening to me as an adult. And there are two instances that both happened in 2019 when I was 25 years old. that really, really, when I look back, I'm like, wow, this is why this still triggers me so much to this day. I was still talking to my parents back in 2019, and I remember inviting my parents to go watch me compete at CG Games. So CG, it stands for Camp Gladiator. Yeah, Camp Gladiator. Wow. Stands for Camp Gladiator. It is a workout program that I am a part of. And every summer they would have this thing called CG Games. It's kind of like the CrossFit Games, or like quote the Olympics of Camp Gladiator is what I was calling it for a while. And I asked them to come and watch me compete. And I remember my mom's response being, "Well, no, sorry, dad and I just don't want to drive up to Houston," which is an hour away. Like they live an hour away, guys, and they just didn't want to come. That sucked. Like that really hurt and that really sucked. I'm 25 and I'm still asking my parents to come and support me, and they just blatantly said no, that they weren't going to do that. And then the next time where my parents didn't show up for me, and this one was really, really difficult actually. And this kind of scarred me. And this is why my birthday is so sacred and why I only spend it with my fiance Monish now. So for my birthday in 2019, my birthday, in case you guys don't know this, I haven't said this at all, whatever. My birthday is Christmas Day, which is a really rough birthday to have. It's not fun like everybody thinks it is. It is a day where everybody is focused about giving gifts and Jesus and having Christmas dinner and all of that. And it takes away from the specialness of a birthday. So my birthday has never been special. Growing up, my birthday was always, after Christmas lunch, I would have birthday present time where I'd open whatever presents I got. I would have birthday cake, and then that was it. And it was the same every single year. And it always was lonely and it sucked. And I've hated it. So 2019 was the second, well, actually, 2019 was the very first birthday that I spent without my family. And that was hard because I told my mom, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go off to see one of my friends who lives in Colorado. I'm going to go stay with him and for a couple of days, take some time off, get the hell out of Houston for a minute. And then I'm going to be landing Christmas morning, like 9 or 10 a.m. in Houston. Would you come pick me up? And then we can have some lunch somewhere and we can go see a movie maybe. Because she didn't have any plans. Neither did my dad. The other two kids in the house were out and gone. And my mom literally said no. She's like, "No, I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna come up to Houston to pick you up from the airport. Figure it out yourself. Sorry." Yeah. So, what's actually ironic about that, though, is as hurtful as it was that they refused to show up for me on my fucking birthday, y'all. Like, they didn't wanna do anything for me on my birthday, which in hindsight, the years past, they hadn't really done much anyways, so, like, I shouldn't have been super shocked. But that was super hurtful and I felt super let down and just like, wow, I really don't matter. And it ended up being the first great birthday I ever had. Like ever since 2019, I've just had amazing birthdays. And I spent it with a friend. She and her mom came and picked me up from the airport. I had Christmas Day with them, which it wasn't about me and it didn't matter. We had a good time. There was no fighting, no yelling, nobody was sad, nobody got in trouble, nobody was hurt, and it was great. And then ever since then, it's been my fiance and I, we do whatever we want for my birthday for me. And so yeah, the point being is because of these situations that happened when I was small, that were still happening to me as a fucking adult, is I really struggle when people don't show up for me. That's just been a struggle point of mine. And so now that I understand this about myself, that like, damn, this isn't because this person isn't showing up for me. I'm getting mad at them because my parents didn't show up for me. And I am triggered by them not showing up for me like my parents didn't. I'm now able to step back and say, you know what? Life happens. People are busy. People might not want to come, or they just can't come, or whatever the case might be. But it's not about me. It's not necessarily that they don't want to support me. It's Life gets in the way. We all know that life is busy these days. It's not slowing down. It is absolutely insane at times. And just taking a moment and saying, you know what? Let me take a breather. This person texted me, said they're not going to be able to come. Let me just take some time to get back to them. I'll go do something that I enjoy. I'll go on a walk. I'll do some sewing. If I'm at work, I'll just, take time to just chill and relax and then come back and say, you know what? That's okay. I totally understand. Thanks, anyways. I appreciate you. And just kind of move on. And this is what I'm learning to do with myself is to just accept things for what they are and move on, which can be really, really tough, but dwelling on it's not going to it's not going to help anything. And, dwelling on it is just hurting me because I'm allowing my past to come and destroy my present. And that can also hurt relationships too. So So yeah, that's just something I've learned about myself recently. I've got some other things I will share in the coming weeks, and I hope that, me being vulnerable and talking about these things will help you to start to think about your triggers and think about, okay, well, are there things that I'm reacting to in my current relationships with people that are actually stemming from past traumas or past hurts? Because if we're letting our past affect our present and like especially a nasty past or like just traumatic past, it's not doing us any good. It's only going to shake things up what we're in now. And we don't want to do that. We definitely don't want to do that, especially if we have good friends. And so, yeah, okay. Let me get off my soapbox here. Moving on. So, this episode today is Life Sometimes Sucks. Here's how to move forward when it feels like everything is falling apart. And guys, man, I'm not going to go into any details, but lately, I mean, this past month when I've been MIA, that's what I mean by lately, life has just thrown some shade at me. Some shade. It's been disruptive. It's been hurtful. There's been a lot of disappointment, a lot of being let down, some betrayal, just a lot of shit. A lot of shit. And it's been rough. And I have been super depressed this year. And so much so that my psychiatrist put me on antidepressants for the first time in my life because I just haven't been able to stay afloat enough on my own. Like I've only been on mood stabilizers up until this year. So that's how bad this year has been. It's just been thing after thing after thing after thing, which is just so frustrating because I've also had so many beautiful things happen this year. I got to go to Europe. I got to go to Paris finally, which was a dream of mine for the first time in my life. My fiance proposed to me in Paris, which is another dream of mine. This summer, I got to travel a bunch. I've gotten to go to Portland, Oregon. I went to Ohio and did a Spartan race. We have gone, where else? We've gone all over Texas this summer. We've done a lot. We've gotten to do a lot of amazing things, and we have more amazing things coming this year. But these shitty things that life keeps throwing at me have just really weighed me down. And I am tired of it. And I am so, so tired of it. And with this, I realized that I am the one in control. I am the only one who can change how I feel about all of this shit that life keeps throwing at me. And life has definitely been trying to me and life has definitely been trying to get me down lately, but I have been letting life win. I've been letting life win, which is total bullshit because if you know me, you know that I'm competitive and I do not give up easily. But I realized that is what I've done this year. I have given up. I have allowed this negativity to seep into me and to bring me down and to hold me down. And that's not who I am nowadays. That is not who I am. That's not who I want to be. And I'm not going to allow this to continue. So here's the thing, I've decided that I want my positive, happy life back and that I need to start doing some things to move forward in that direction because I am the only one who can do that, guys. So, just a reminder in case you didn't know this, that you are in control of your own happiness. You are in control of your own life. And the choices that you make and the things that you do will affect your happiness. Nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do. Nobody can. Nobody made me feel depressed. Sure, they did things. They did things that caused me to sink into depression. And I stayed there for a very long time. But I allowed myself to dwell on those things. Nobody told me to dwell on those. Nobody said, hey, dwell on that bullshit that happened to you in April. Dwell on that for about 4 or 5 months. Just let it hang you down. Just let it sink you into that couch that you clearly don't want to leave. Nobody did that. And yes, I do understand that, myself included, there's a chemical part of my brain that doesn't always work the right way. That there are people out there who also suffer from clinical depression, which is, again, there's a chemical imbalance, just like with bipolar disorder, that sometimes makes it extremely difficult. But I wasn't doing anything to help myself. I wasn't even trying. And I feel like that's where I really fucked up. I wasn't even trying to help myself. I wasn't even trying to feel better. I was just allowing all of this negativity to just weigh on me. And I'm done. Y'all, I am so done. I am so fucking done. So, let's go ahead and dive into a couple things that I've started doing that are getting me back to the happy, positive Bailey that I am and that I always want to be. So, how to move forward. The first thing, the very first thing that I think is so important that I will always constantly talk about and rave about is exercise. Guys, moving your body and getting those endorphins will really, really help to lift you up. My therapist has been nagging me. I say nagging. I don't think she listens to the podcast. She knows I have a podcast. I don't think she listens to it, but she has been getting on to me about exercise. Are you exercising daily? Are you doing something? And by exercise, guys, you don't have to go run 10 miles a day. You don't have to go bike ride. You don't have to go swimming. You literally can just go outside and go on a walk. Going on a walk is the best way to clear your head. You are spending time in nature. You are moving your body. You're getting fresh air. All of these things are so, so, so good for us. And that is something that I have been working on diligently. I've put on weight these past couple of months because of depression. I've allowed myself to emotionally eat and I have skipped workouts, i.e., that's what I meant by one of the things I meant by I'm not helping myself. And I've decided, I'm going to make exercise a priority again. And having the Spartan race that I went to and being out there and not being as physically prepared as I would have hoped or wanted to be, that was a kick in my ass. That was a kick in my ass. And I'm like, you know what? I'm getting back into it. I am exercising every day, whether that is going on a 45-minute walk once a day, doing some yoga. I'm going to work on getting back into running. I used to love running, guys, and runner's high is a real thing. So, again, these are just the simplest, easy ways. This is the simplest, easiest way to just start to take back control is just by getting daily exercise, body movement. Start small if you have to. Go on one 30-minute walk every day, whatever it is, just do it. Just start and just get that body moving. The next thing that I think is so incredibly important is gratitude. Gratitude. I have a blog post I wrote about gratitude. I'm going to link that here. I have a whole podcast episode. I believe it's from season 2 about gratitude that I'm also going to link in today's show notes. And y'all, gratitude has played a significant role in bringing my life from the distressed mess that it was to the joyful, happy Bailey that I have been for these past couple of years. Excluding this year. And guess what? I have hardly touched my gratitude journal. I think the last entry until this month, October, before October, I had a few entries in July and then I hadn't touched it since like March. Yeah, I have not been practicing daily gratitude and it shows. It shows because here's the thing, you guys. When you sit down and you take 5 minutes to write down, to literally write down, to list it out, 3 to 5 things that you are thankful for today. I'm thankful that the sun was shining and I got to have a nice walk outside. I'm thankful that the temperature dropped and it was only 75 degrees today. I'm thankful for the delicious taste of the homemade smoothie that I made for breakfast this morning. Guys, simple things. You don't need to be grateful. Like, of course, you do need to be grateful for big things too. But the point is, a daily gratitude practice is just sitting there and realizing what are some great things that happened today. Just three, four, five of them. Doesn't have to be a massive list. Just I try to do five every single time I sit down to do gratitude. And I'm again working on getting that back into a daily routine again, but I work on 5 things because if you can notice 5 things about your day that were good, even if the whole day was a shit show, and the only things that were good about it were you got to go on a walk outside, the weather was nice, the smoothie tasted good, you didn't have a lot of traffic on the way home from work, and that your dog was happy to see you when you got home. Those 5 small things, if you realize that you can find joy in a shitty day, it makes the shitty days less shitty. It really does. It's that simple. And it's wild when you think about it because I grew up saying thank you for things and not really being grateful. We weren't really taught, we were told we had to be grateful. Actually, we were told that we were ungrateful all the time. That's what we were told. But nobody really taught us how to be grateful for things in life, how to actually be grateful for things. So I learned on my own by doing my own gratitude practice. And if you have never done a gratitude practice and you don't know where to start, just check out the show notes from today. In the episode description, you can click the link to show notes and you'll find the link where I have my gratitude practice just spelled out. And guys, give it a shot. Give it a shot. I'm telling you, do it on a daily basis. Make it a habit. I do it every night before bed because no matter how shitty that day was, if I can find 5 good things that happened or that I enjoyed about the day, then it really wasn't that shitty of a day. And I tend to sleep better and I have less nightmares and I wake up a lot more relaxed and I wake up more happy when I do a daily gratitude practice. So, again, that's why I'm working on getting back into it on a regular basis. I'll keep you updated. And lastly, one of the other things that I have found to be really, really important when life just feels like it's just total shit is focus on cultivating your friendships. So, let me explain this a little further. And one of the things that I've noticed about friendships in my personal life lately, is that I've been a bad friend. I've been a bad friend. I've been so wrapped up in my own shit that I've been a really bad friend to people. I haven't been reaching out. I haven't been celebrating people as much. And I honestly, I haven't really been super pleasant to want to talk to or be around, which sucks. And I hate that about myself. I really do. I hate that I've allowed myself to become so negative that people just don't really want to be around me. It sucks. But that's the thing. I can't blame them. I can't blame my friends. Who wants to be around a negative Nancy? Nobody. Y'all, for example, my old coworker Carol, who thankfully is no longer there. Carol was a negative Nancy. Complaining Carol should have been her nickname. All she ever did was complain and bitch and whine and cry about how hard her life is and how much her life sucks and blah, blah, blah. That's all it ever was with her. Nobody wanted to talk to her. Nobody liked being around her. I sure as hell wanted to stay away. And I think I allowed some of that attitude to seep into me because that's kind of who I've been these last couple of months. And it sucks. It sucks. And I don't like that I've been that person. And so what do I do? Right? Like, how do I move forward from this shitty persona of a person that I don't want to be? And, I'm so grateful for the podcast, the Goal Digger podcast, GOAL, Goal Digger by Jenna Kutcher. Again, I will link this specific episode in today's show notes. But she had an episode where she talked about friendships because she's an entrepreneur, and oftentimes entrepreneurs are very lonely because you are super busy with your company, you're busy running your stuff that you don't have a lot of time for friends, or you just allow yourself to kind of sink into yourself instead of cultivating your friendships and all that kind of stuff. And so she had an episode where she talked about how to, like, I don't know if it's how to keep friendships or how to cultivate them. I cannot remember exactly what. But what I am going to tell you is this beautiful piece of advice that she gave. So, one of the things that she does on a regular basis is she reaches out to friends, and she just says she sends a text to a couple people each day. And she's like, "Hey, I've been thinking about you. I miss you. How can I be supportive of you right now in this season of your life?" Just something, right? And it doesn't have to be major. It doesn't have to be anything wild, but she reaches out and she focuses on that person to see what she can do for them or how she can be helpful for them, or how she could just love them. And I listened to that and I was like, holy shit. I haven't done that this year. I haven't done much of that. I haven't been reaching out to see how other people are doing. And at that moment, I realized that's what I need to be doing in my life right now because my life is chaos. My life has been chaos. It's been shit. It's just not been fun. And I'm tired of it. And nobody wants to hear about it either. So why don't I focus on somebody else's life? Because since mine isn't great, why don't I take my focus off of me and start focusing on other people and what they're doing and what makes them happy? Because guys, what that does is it does two things for us. First of all, it distracts me from all of my bullshit. My bullshit's over here, my bullshit's over there, and I'm over here, enjoying my friendship, enjoying, celebrating being happy for somebody and all the good things for them. So that's great. I'm distracted from my shit and I'm focusing on happy stuff. But what's more is at the same time, I am now cultivating a better friendship with this person because I'm sitting there and we're talking about them. We all love to talk about ourselves. Don't you even try to deny that you don't like to talk about yourself. We all love to. It's human nature. That's just how things are. But when's the last time you sat down and specifically started asking somebody else about them, about their life, about what they're doing, about fun new things that are happening for them? And I realized that that's typically the person who I am, but lately it hasn't been. So I haven't been a good friend. And it sucks that I realized that. Well, no, it's good that I realized that. It sucks that that's what's happened. So that's what I'm doing. And if any of you guys are close friends of mine and you get one of these texts, I love you and I do care about you. And I'm reaching out because I do want to know about you. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I haven't been as good of a friend. I am. So I'm working on that. I am. I'm working on that. And this is my way of doing it. And yeah, I am grateful though that I have really, really understanding friends. Like nobody's angry at me that I've been, you know, struggling the way that I have. Nobody's angry that I haven't been reaching out to them. So that's nice, but I just feel like I haven't been the good friend that I want to be. And I hate that. I hate that. And so, again, this is a twofer. This is allowing me to, you know, cultivate these friendships and focus on them, focus on things that are happy, things that are not the shitstorm that my life has been. And also, it's a way to not feel so lonely because I have felt very lonely this year. And I think that's because I've kind of pushed myself away from people into a little hole of a little shithole. Yeah. So, guys, I encourage you if life feels overwhelming, if it feels like it's just constantly sucking, I want you to take some time and to think about okay, the people that I have in my life, what have we been chatting about? Are we only chatting about how shitty my life is? Is that all that the conversation is? Is there something I could do to better cultivate these relationships? Is there something I could better do to support these friendships? So that's where you are. Think about these things. If you can't be there yet, if things just feel so shitty and you feel like you can't get out, start with daily exercise. Like seriously, guys, that right there is again the best way to go, the best way to start. It's talked about by so many different people. My therapist again keeps getting on to me about it, and I know it to be true because I've experienced it multiple times in my life, which is why I'm back on the exercise train again now because that's something I know I need to do. And, again, finally, we also need to work on gratitude because I know that has changed my life. It's changed my perspective on life. It's changed how my life has become and what it's grown into. And I got off track, and that's okay because we're all humans. And sometimes we get off track and sometimes we lose our way. And so if you've lost your way, just know that you're not alone because your girl right here has definitely been lost. I've been so lost this year. But you don't have to stay lost. Just get back on track, start one thing at a time, start small, and build from there, and things will get better. Okay, so win of the week. This segment was created for you guys as a way to shed to share some positivity and spread some lightness and just good things that happened in life recently, whether it's been that you've gotten your dream job or that you've, got out of the house and actually showered today. No win is too small for the Stress the Joyful Bailey's way. And so this is also your opportunity for a shout out on the show. And if that is something that you've been wanting, or if you don't want, that's totally fine too. Guys, I just want to share positivity with you. So I'm going to go ahead and give my win of this week. This is a big one, and I'm so excited. We're getting a pug. Moni and I are getting a pug, and we are beyond thrilled. I have wanted a pug since I was a child, you guys. I've wanted a pug for so long. I've never had my own dog. He loves dogs, and he's never really had his own dog either. Thank you, Doug the Pug, because Doug the Pug, if you guys don't follow sorry, if you guys don't follow Doug the Pug on Instagram, just just go check him out. He is so incredible, so cute, so fun, and pugs are just so cuddly and lovable in general. So I had Moni start following Doug the Pug a while back, and he fell in love with Doug, and he was like, "Okay, let's get our own pug." So we're finally at a stage where we can get our own pug, and we're picking him up 1 week from today. Today being this day that I'm recording. I am so excited. So, actually, if you're on YouTube, I'll let you read my shirt. It says, I'm not like a regular mom. I'm a pug mom. I actually made this shirt. It's in my Etsy shop. So, if any of you guys are pug moms or pug lovers, this shirt you can go buy and wear and just show your love for pugs. Pugs are just great. And I'm just so excited. So his name is Duke. He comes home, like I said, a week from today. And I can't wait to show you guys Duke. He's got his own little Instagram, actually. I will link that in the show notes if you want to check him out. He's just so cute. So that is my win. Another dream of mine coming true alongside. Well, thanks to my fiance for being on board with this for me. So he likes to say that he makes my dreams come true one dream at a time, and he's pretty consistent. So, if you have a recent win that you want to share with me, you can head over to whatishaybellsdoing.com/win of the week. There you can submit it anonymously. You can leave your name for a shout out, whichever you prefer. You could also send me a direct message on Instagram at distress to joyful underscore Bailey's Way, or feel free to email me at whatishaybellsdoing@gmail.com. So, in the next episode, we are going to talk about bipolar anger or bipolar rage. It is a real bitch, and it is not fun for both the people experiencing the anger and, of course, for the people who are on the receiving end of the anger. So, we're going to talk a bit more about that and my personal experiences with it, and it ah, just how it feels and how it can take things over, and just, the details. So it's going to be an interesting episode. If you know somebody who has bipolar disorder and you've seen this come out in them, I think this is going to be a very important episode for you to tune into, because this is something that unfortunately is a lot of times out of our control. So, again, I will go into more details about that in the next episode. So, just be sure to stay tuned. And thank you for listening to the show. Be sure to follow the show on Instagram and Facebook at distress to joyful underscore Bailey's Way. And you can head on over to the website, whatishaybellsdoing.com, to check out the notes, to check out the show notes from today's episode. If you enjoyed this podcast, please help spread the word by leaving a rating or writing a review, because you guys, I love to hear from you. I really, truly do. So, lastly, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date for all of the new episode releases. But until next time, take it easy, stay grateful, and be joyful. Bye.